Writing a book was hard enough, and then the internet decided you also needed to be a marketing wizard with mad skills. Well, look, what if you're not crazy? And yes, the system is broken. I think the pressure being put on authors today is absolutely ridiculous. We need all the help that we can get. We don't need permission to create the way that works best for us, right? We don't need that permission. We never did. So I'm Dominic, founder of a writing community called LegendFiction. It's time to get back to work, being creative with all the tools that we can use. And so if this video strikes a chord with you, drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Now, what if writing your story didn't have to feel impossible? What if the mountains of pressure that modern authors face, right? The marketing, social media, brand building, the hustle, what if all of that isn't proof that you're failing, but proof that the system is broken? This is it's an honest, rebellious letter to every writer overwhelmed by the noise, tired of the self-congratulating suffering Olympics on social media, and quietly wondering, is there still room to simply love writing again? So, in this video, let's talk about why authors today feel buried alive and how tools like AI aren't cheating. They're a lifeline, and they're not going away, and they showed up exactly when we needed them to. I'm here to hand you permission to write your story your way, use the tools you need, and stop apologizing for surviving, because nobody gets a trophy for burnout, but there's a whole world waiting for your words. 1. If writing feels impossible, it's not you, it's this whole made-up system. So let's be honest. The pressure being put on authors today, it's absolutely ridiculous. Writing a book has always been hard enough. It was never supposed to require you to become a Michelangelo-level polymath or a Leonardo da Vinci creative super genius. Nobody told you that in order to bring your story into the world, you also had to become a marketing expert, a graphic designer, a social media strategist, a project manager, community leader, and a professional public speaker. You didn't ask to become a content creating machine or a full-time influencer. You asked for space to write the epic novel burning in your soul. So if you feel overwhelmed, overlooked, and quietly drowning in the noise of advice and criticism and the impossible expectations from other writers, I hear you. Especially those old school authors, right, who are dunking on everyone, demanding that everyone suffer the way they do, with pen and ink. They see your struggle, and instead of offering help, they project their trauma onto you. They survived the hard way, so now you have to too. And look, I wrote my first novel with a ballpoint pen, all 50,000 words of it. So I've been there. This is for the writers who just want to create. Okay, for all the authors who don't have a cabin at the bottom of the garden, no cozy writing shed, no mountain retreat. Some of us don't even have a house. You're barely paying rent. You're staring down inflation and medical debt and student loans, and maybe owning a home will never be in the cards. And yet, here you are, showing up to write. This is for the authors who barely know who Ernest Hemingway is. Honestly, you're not dreaming of being Stephen King either. You don't have the luxury of picturing yourself as some tortured, starving artist suffering nobly for their craft. You're already suffering enough trying to survive in the real world. The life that you want feels so far away, and it may not even be your fault. But you do have this, a burning love to create, and you're not going to let go of that. So this is for the authors who will take any help that they can get, because you're not teeing up to the same starting line as everyone else. You're starting in a hole, and you're just trying to claw your way back up to level ground. And you're tired of the way that authors dunk on people like you for not being fast enough, not being smart enough, not being good enough. You're also tired of the victim mindset, the cancel culture, the blame games, when all you want is a hand up, a pat on the back, a reminder that it's worth it to keep going. You're worth it. You can see through all that pettiness online. You can see the authors terrified that someone else's success is stealing their oxygen. You see the gatekeeping, and you're done with it. I've been watching this space. I've seen how authors treat each other, especially when they disagree, and I'm not here to roll over anymore and stay quiet. And if people disagree with me, that's up to you. I'm still going to say what I believe and do what I think is helpful because I believe there are so many more authors out there than we realize who feel exactly the same way. I wish somebody had told me all of this 10 years ago, so I'm saying it now. We're done with the elitism. All of this stuff that you're expected to deal with, the social posts, the tweets, the reels, the book talk updates, look, it is all fun. We love it. But hey, it's made up. It's an artificial system layered on top of the craft that you actually love, and it's suffocating you. Every new platform is like a whole new realm that you're expected to master on your own with a donut and coffee, unless you're avoiding carbs, and then you have even less joy in your life to level up with. Nobody succeeds alone. Everyone who's ever made it and lived long enough to enjoy it has a team, tools, and resources to help them carry the load. So finally, in the middle of all of this insane overwhelm, tech is finally catching up to the problems that we keep creating for ourselves. For the first time in history, an individual anywhere with a dream can get the help that they need to share their ideas. Real help. That's why tools like AI aren't here to steal your voice, your creativity. Can they? Sure. But hey, so can people. We call them scammers. AI can be used to amplify your ideas, remove the friction, and give you back your time without forcing you to sell your soul to the industry machine. So this post here, it's your permission slip to stop suffering in silence, to stop apologizing, to start using the tools available to you so that you can focus on the one thing that matters most, writing your story. Have you ever heard of the no true Scotsman fallacy? I think we're awash in it. Honestly, it's lazy thinking. So here's the no true author fallacy, the AI edition. Usually goes like this. Oh, you used AI to help you brainstorm your plot? Well, no real author would ever do that. Or, you used AI to help outline your chapters or organize your ideas? Sorry, no true writer needs that kind of crutch. Or the classic. Any author who uses AI for anything isn't really writing, they're just pretending. As if authors who use tech to make their creative process easier are somehow less authentic. As if, the only real writing happens by candlelight with a quill pen while you suffer silently in a log cabin deep in the woods with no running water or Wi-Fi. Okay, I know that's a bit of a straw man, but still, you know where I'm going. This is the no true Scotsman fallacy in disguise. No true author would do the thing that I personally don't like. Therefore, if you do it, you're not a real author. Frankly, I think Threads is built on that right now. It's annoying. It's performative purity, and it's completely disconnected from the reality of how every creative profession in history has evolved. So tools don't make you less real. They help you survive long enough to finish what matters. This fallacy doesn't allow for a member of a community to think differently. All right, let's move on to the absurd circus act of being an author today. There's a moment that every author knows, right? Staring at a blank screen at midnight, kids asleep, there's dishes in the sink, you're like brain foggy, you're just feeling stretched so thin that you could snap, and that tiny voice keeps whispering, you're not doing enough. Look, writers already feel inadequate. Imposter syndrome is basically a default operating system for most of us. Time management, that's comedy. Time is a shape-shifting phantom that just, it slips away faster than your ideas can. There's never enough time. And you're writing already in the cracks of life, in the waiting rooms, in the pickup line at school, in the 10 minutes before bed, when your brain feels like overcooked oatmeal. So you're stealing moments like a creative outlaw, and you're scribbling notes on napkins, typing fragments in your phone at red lights. I am. Actually, it's voice notes, because that's safer. Mentally rewriting scenes while folding laundry. This is not the life of the perfectly polished author that you see on social media. This is survival writing. And that's what most of us are doing. And somehow you're still supposed to know how to build a thriving community and manage beta readers like a corporate HR department and get on podcasts and be effortlessly charming and write sequels like a machine and manage a newsletter, a website, a brand, and build a personal mythos worthy of a Marvel origin story, all while holding on a day job and raising a family. And heaven help you if you write slowly. That's it's basically a sin in the modern world. We've got this self-publishing shame Olympics. And then the other writers come along right? And they pile on, especially if you're self-publishing. Oh, you're not paying $1,000 for a cover? You must not be serious. Or you don't have the budget for a full-time editor? It's an amateur hour. You're not crafting custom posts for every social platform like some kind of content wizard monk living on a mountain retreat with infinite hours and no children? Clearly, you're not dedicated enough. And while you're barely holding it together, you open Instagram, Threads, right? And what do you see? The self-congratulating Olympics of author suffering. Post after post of writers detailing just how impossibly hard their life is, their burnout, their exhaustion, their horror stories about marketing and publishing, as if writing hasn't been difficult since monks were hand-copying scrolls by candlelight. Yeah, it's a self-congratulating Olympics of author suffering. Then comes the fear-mongering, right? Frantic warnings that someone might steal their ideas, their drafts, their precious intellectual property. And also as if theft hasn't existed since the dawn of storytelling. As if the power of your story lies only in the raw idea, not in your unique voice, your skill, and the heart that you pour into it, bringing it to life. I'm with James Cameron on this, on copywriting with AI. We can't copyright the sources or the input. We copyright the output. We always have. Writers create in 100 different ways. I think there's no single sacred method. So I'm tired of the creators who resent others who reach their goals faster. Not because they cheated, but because they adapted. Because they were humble enough to use the tools available. Because they worked smarter, not just bang their heads harder against walls. Artists are unique. And we need unique ways to embody our imagination, ways that work for them. Now, faith-inspired writers? Gosh, we have it even worse. For those of us who are writing faith-inspired fiction, it gets even more insane. It's not just hard, it's like literally walking a creative tightrope over a pit of snapping opinions where every step you take is criticized from a different direction. You write about magic? You're a heretic. You don't write about magic? You're boring. You stay silent? You're a coward. You speak boldly? You're arrogant. You're not vocal enough about your faith? You're not holy enough. Too vocal? You're too preachy. You use imagination and symbolism? Dangerous. You stay strictly literal? You're spiritually shallow. It's like no matter where you turn, someone is waiting to tell you that you're doing it wrong. That your work doesn't fit neatly into their tiny box of what good Christian fiction should look like. It's so hard, right? Somehow your very act of writing fiction is suspicious because it dares to explore beauty, mystery, and creativity outside the lines of their control. And while all of this is happening, all you want deep down is to sit quietly with your story, to protect that fragile, beautiful, ridiculous little pearl of great price that's burning in your soul. You want to chase it down rabbit trails, follow its strange curves, and discover what it wants to become. You want the freedom to explore, but instead, you're buried under a mountain of noise, opinions, bad advice, criticism, unrealistic demands, and theological hot takes. It feels like you're crawling through an avalanche of expectations just to protect that spark of inspiration and not lose your love for the craft in the process. Look, nobody's mastered all of this. No author has. Nobody has balanced it all perfectly while writing with heart and raising a family and living a peaceful life. And the few who seem like they actually do, they either have teams of people helping them or superpowers that we mortals don't possess. But honestly, most of them aren't even on social at all. They just let everyone else talk about them. So, what if writers of the future don't burn out trying to do it all? Now, here we go. What if we're building a world where creativity flows more freely because we embraced the tools that help us to breathe again? This is why AI is not the enemy. AI, it's like the tractor to your plow. It's like the printing press to your hand-scribed manuscript. It's like the car to your horse. AI is not here to replace your creativity. It's here to help you survive the war zone of modern publishing. It can brainstorm with you when your friends are tired. It can organize your chaos when your brain is mush. It can research without sending you down 1,000 browser tabs or triggering a homeland security flag. It can help you draft, outline, plan, and even help with social posts so that you can spend your precious creative energy on the thing that you can do, which is write. We're finally getting through the ridiculous early years of AI hype and slop and abuse, and it's been a weird 2 to 3 years. I've lost friendships over what I think is right. I've watched creators team up like hive minds over ridiculous slogans and lambaste each other. I've watched ludicrous sham posting from lazy AI users pretending they actually made something and deserve equal treatment as real creators. And I've watched members of my writing community struggle to find the balance of just being a good person without being cancelled. It's time to be done now. Will the grown-ups in the room stand back up? I think here's the author's true role. It's about stewardship, not perfection. Authors are like parents. There are no rule books, no instruction manuals, no neat checklists that guarantee success. There's a lot of late nights, there's trial and error, there's rough drafts, there's rewrites, and there's a stubborn refusal to give up on something you love. Parenting a story into the world is messy. It requires patience. It requires humility. Often it requires a ridiculous amount of courage to keep showing up when nobody's clapping for you. And look, your readers, frankly, they don't care. They aren't checking to see if you wrote it by hand under a full moon or outlined it in a leather-bound journal while sipping tea. They don't care if you brainstormed with an AI tool that you trained on your manuscript so that, to help you be a better author faster. They care that you finished it, that you believe in it and that it matters to you, and you worked hard to say something that matters to them too. They care that your words found them, that your story met them where they were, and that it made them feel something real. So here's a final blessing. For the writer like you, out there in the arena, some writers, they'll always choose to walk instead of ride. And that's fine. That's their story. That's their journey. That's their choice. Maybe walking keeps them grounded, and maybe it brings them joy, and maybe it's the only way that they know how to create, the only way that they want to. But don't let them shame you into thinking you're less because you choose to use a tool that gives you back your time, your sanity, your energy, and your love of writing. You're not weak for wanting help. You're not less of an artist because you value efficiency in certain areas, and you're not a fraud because you want to protect your mental health while chasing your dream. You're human. And being human means working with the tools and resources you have to create something only you can make. So write broke, write tired, write messy, write in the cracks of your life, in waiting rooms, on lunch breaks, between loads of laundry, after long shifts, before the sun comes up, write when your brain is foggy, write when the world is loud, write when nobody else is watching, but write. Because it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, what an AI bot is doing, none of it will ever replace the heart and the soul and the grit of you, the actual you. So use the tools. Use your creativity, use your stubbornness, walk when you want, ride when you need, crawl if you have to. Keep going. Keep your creativity alive. Protect your pearl of great price. Nurture it. Steward your inspiration like the precious thing that it is. The worst thing that you could do is try so hard to do everything right that you forget why you started writing at all in the first place. It's easy to get lost, trying to follow everyone's advice, trying to keep up with all the rules that people tell you about being a good writer or a good person. If all of that leaves you so busy and stressed and tired that you never get to sit down and write your story, then what's the point? Your gift, your story, it will grunt and writhe and die of exhaustion before seeing daylight. Don't let that happen. That's what matters most, and that's what's always worth fighting for, your creativity. So, artists can use AI. Artists should use AI, and artists are some of the best people to be using AI and teaching the rest of us. Artists can make AI great. And I'm an artist, I can say that, and so can you.